This is Diane Murray at Southern Art Gallery, and I was just cleaning my palettes and moving some paints around, and I thought a lot of my students do not know how to move paint from one palette to another, or to move it easily. So I thought I would show you quickly how I do that. I think we'll go ahead and clean up this transparent Pyrrole orange. So the first thing I do is I wet the paint, and depending on if it's a honey-based paint or not, that will determine how much, how easy it is to get out of the palette. So I will take, then I take the brush, and I use old brushes for this. Don't use your good brushes for this, please. So I get the easy paint first, and then I load it up and I move it over to the palette, which you can't see that I'm loading it to, or to an empty well. Then I will take this is an old squirrel brush, a Creative Mark quill brush that has no point. So I take the fattest brush I can and I soak up the majority of the pigment and water mixture. And then I'll just take it and like this and squeeze it into the new palette. That's a technique you'll see a lot of British painters do. Tom Schaller also does it. I've seen him do it. He just basically is always squeezing water out of his palette like that. It's not something I typically do because it's messy. So then I'll clean that brush. And as you can see, there's still some pigment in there. So I'll wet it again. And if you have, and this is a sad example because I left it in the water, but if you have scrubber brushes, these are perfect for cleaning the wells because they're really tough, and they're honestly, I bought these to lift paint, but they're much too aggressive. And so I don't use them for that, so I use them for this. Basically, you can just scrub that hard pigment. They're nylon, and they're just very, very, very strong little scrubby brushes. So I'll get what I can off there with that. As best I can. And anything that they won't take up, I will scrub with a palette knife. So let's loosen everything first. Just loosening it with water is the easiest way to do this. So I'll go ahead and just clean that rather than drop that in. We'll take our fat brush again and we'll collect all, and believe it or not, this pigment water mixture will dry down in your well to be pure pigment as the water evaporates. So this way you're not wasting any paint, which, you know, for those of us who buy a lot of watercolor paint, it's a big deal not to waste paint. So then I'll take a paper towel and check the corners, because if you leave any paint in the crevices like this, it will reconstitute and it will change whatever color you have. So we'll check that and make sure there's nothing left in there. Okay, and give it one more cleaning with just this regular brush, just to make sure we got it all. See, there's always a little bit left. And if you're putting a red in a red, it's not so critical, but if you're putting a yellow in here, it is very critical. So cleanliness does make a difference in this situation. So there you go. A nice clean well for new paint. And also, in some of these palettes, the plastic ones, I do write the name on the side of the well, and you can get that off. That's Sharpie pen, but that will come off with a little alcohol or even hand sanitizer. You can clean all that up. So there you have it, a clean well. And I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please subscribe to our channel and follow us on YouTube and give us a like, and we will see you soon.